Hey, what's up? This is Harley.
Elston?
And we're kind of talking on accountability and with the internet, since it's gotten so big and so just broad in the sense of like it affects everyone, not just the country it was created in, but also other countries as well. You know, my focus has been particularly on comments in the YouTube world. Yours has been.
It's pretty much on how Facebook, social media, and how consumers get the majority of their news.
Okay, yeah.
With the spontaneity of the news cycle and the ease of access of internet, accessibility with cell phones, it's just running rampant. I understand on YouTube there's a good amount of comments.
Yeah, a lot of the issues with YouTube and a lot of the critiques on it, you know, have been based on the comment section, because it's just like, it's not like Reddit or Facebook where the most liked comment is the first one you see. It's what's the most commented on, what's the most viewed comment, you know, is what you see. So you could be watching Mozart's Sixth Symphony on YouTube and some guy will post like, man, I had sex with my wife on this. And if that gets the most responses, that's the first one you see. So it kind of aids like this trolling, I'm going to say whatever I want regardless of what I want to say kind of mentality. And it's not only that. In an article written for Polygon by Julia Alexander, she makes mention of Nicholas Cruz. He was a 19-year-old suspected gunman in the school shootings in Florida the week of February 10th, I believe. It was before February 16th when this article was published. And in it, they make mention that he commented on several videos that he was going to shoot up this school. So it comes into question, like, how do we kind of stop that, you know? Or like, should we even stop that? For me, I think we should have like internet etiquette classes or netiquette classes, kind of mandatory in school, like how gym is in most schools and how home ec is in most schools. You know, I think that should be a solution.
It sounds pretty much essentially like it's ignoring the people that commit those crimes currently.
Yeah, that's kind of like the sacrifice that has to be made, because I feel that, you know, the people who use YouTube the most are 18 to 25-year-olds. And so why focus on the people who are already set in their ways, who are already wanting to say these things? Obviously not to like, if we're talking strictly about the people who like mention they're gonna do school shootings and do it, then that's a different conversation. But for the people who are just into trolling and into just saying whatever I want, using, you know, slurs and however they please, you know, I think those people are already set in their ways. And I think we need to like ignore those people for right now and focus on the future generation, focus on the kids who don't know any better, who are literally growing up with like social media, like as they're coming out of the womb, you know?
The perspective that you're looking at it is from ours, and I agree that would work for in our place, but even one generation after, even just 5 years after, it's just such a stark difference in perspective. It's pretty much there has to be some sort of accountability. Otherwise, like if you can't make an example, like for example, the 2016 election.
Yeah.
Russia, and basically, it's come to terms that the FBI is almost 100% sure that there was collusion involved. There was a blatant disregard for our democratic values, and due to a cultural aspect of how about 17%, I believe, just get their news sources now from social media in general. It's devolved into identity politics, and it was no easy opening. But without a way to hold these perpetrators responsible, accountable, if you will, it won't happen.
How do you say we keep people accountable? Because for me, like, I think my stance is like, educate the next generation, ignore this one. How do you say make an example of someone? Like,
the technology isn't quite there yet, but I believe that due to this rampant disregard for essentially the class you're trying to build, a form of internet etiquette, it's going to have to be a fingerprint scanner of some sort, or some sort of identification ability. We have the technology. We just need the implementation. It's going to take massive reform, however, and that's essentially like, yeah, I see this as it's not the best solution, but it's the only one we have for now.
I mean, but don't you think that gets into like some sort of like government tyranny? You know, if the government regulates who signs on and who says what they want to say.
It does, however, I mean, our system needs to evolve. Something needs to be done the way it is being done right now, and with the speed and like uncertainty in where it could go in the future. There needs to be certain parameters set in place, or certain barriers, and certain consequences or repercussions.
Okay.
To hold people viable or accountable for their actions online. This anonymity, if you will, is just it's too much of a gift for these Russian trolls.
I like how you said that because in this article written by Amelia Tate on News Statesman America, it's called "Why Are YouTube Comments the Worst on the Internet?" She points out that non-anonymous individuals are actually more aggressive than anonymous individuals online. So even the fact that you are not anonymous, that people can see you, you're still going to be more aggressive, you know? And so I think the issue with it is that I think maybe where we can meet in the middle is in the same article, it's the Polygon article written by Julia Alexander. What we can meet in the middle is they're YouTubers, people with enough follows have the option to put certain words they don't want to see in the comment section into an algorithm, and that algorithm will remove any comment immediately that gets posted if it has that word. So maybe instead of giving it to the elite YouTubers, you know, give it to the people who give it to everybody. Like, hey, do you want this mentioned? Like, hey, do you want any comment restriction on there? You know, give it to the person who is sharing that, you know, video and sharing that information. You know, and maybe do that same thing for like Facebook comments and like, you know, Twitter feeds, you know.
These are free enterprises, and yeah, it's just they're worldwide. There's multiple different platforms, and essentially the argument will become one country is going to have to take the stand here. But getting into that article, I believe that it's because it's divulged so far. We've gone so far. It's too late to not have just fierce, you know, extremes on both sides. Like we have liberals, or like the regressive left essentially. Like, it's just they fight their wars on the internet. Yeah, hate speech and all that good stuff is definitely wrecking, but it's gonna have to be we're just gonna have to wait and see, man.
Yeah, like, for sure.
But
that was a good conversation.
It was. We're gonna put the links after the video.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in the description. And have a good day.
Yeah.